We're going to finish today Be'ez Hashem Yisborach, Tfilas Kailam. Then we'll move on, Be'ez Hashem. Okay, so yes, last week we discussed electric Kailam, how we go about it. Then we discussed how do we have to toivel Kailam, the way how to toivel. So now we're going to keep on going next. The Brocha. Before you toivel keilim, matches, which is a deraisa, or even glass, which is a drabonan, you make a brocha, like all the brochas, like all the mitzvahs, esse, even which is midrabonan, you make a brocha, you will make a brocha even for glass. What is the brocha? You pick up the glass, or the keli, with the right hand, like every mitzvah, when you hold the chayfetz in your hand, you make a bracha berachas on hand, you hold it in your right hand, or besumam, or whatever it should be. You make a bracha hashikidishone b'mitzvos v'sivoni al tvilas keli. If you toivel one keli, you make a bracha al tvilas keli. And if you have multiple kelim, you say hashikidishone b'mitzvos v'sivoni al tvilas kelim. And this is how steht in Shulchan Aruch, and this is how the Alter Rebbe brings down in the Siddur what to do. Why do I stress it? Because there's a Aruch HaShulchan, which the Aruch HaShulchan says that you should make even a one keli, you should make a bracha tfilas keilim, and this is how a lot of people who make brachas will say a tfilas keilim. But again, we go according to the Shulchan Aruch, according to the Alter Rebbe. The Alter Rebbe says for one keli, you make a bracha al tfilas keli, and if multiple keilim, you make a bracha al tfilas keilim. Now again, you make a bracha on a keli which you toivel if it needs to be toivel a bracha. Remember, the last couple of weeks we spoke scenarios, then you don't make a bracha. If there is a sofog, if there is a machloikes, all kind of things. But if you have a keli which is, according to all the poskim, a keli which you have to toivel, if you have a metal pot, farberware pot, if you have a glass jar which you use on the table, glass cups, all these things, you make a bracha. There is, there's some kind of conception that you don't make brachas on tfilas keilim. We don't make a bracha, but has no mocker in the halacha. A Shulchan Aruch, you're doing a mitzvah, you're mechiv to make a bracha like you do a bracha on every mitzvah sesa, the rice and the rabbonim make a bracha. So why is this thing different? Now, some people will say, one people will say that one of the reasons is because we don't know, maybe it belongs to a Yid. Maybe Yid has shares in the company. You buy from Fabo, maybe a Yid has shares in the company. So therefore, I cannot toivel the bracha, or maybe it belongs to a Yiddish company. Now the answer to this is, if it belongs to a Yiddish company, a Yiddish person, you're right, you don't make a bracha. But what is the chance that it belongs to solidly only a Yiddish company, or Yiddish bailam? We're living in Chitz. In Chitz, what is the most people? What is most companies? Is most companies belong to Eden? I know if you read, the anti-Semitic, the Sturmer, or if you read, anti-Semitic will say the Jews, they control the whole economy and they own everything. Okay, but Lamaisa, there was two Eden was sitting in the park, and one was reading a Jewish newspaper, and one was reading the Sturmer. When he's talking about 1933. So that guy says, the guy with the newspaper asks the other guy, "What, are you crazy? You're reading this anti-Semitic paper?" He says, "You don't understand. What are you reading? A Jewish newspaper. What do we say? We are not good, and there's a Chas v'Shalom accident, and that guy passed away, and Yidden, there was a anti-Semitic attack on other guys." It's depressing. You know what I read in the Sturmer? Jews run the economy, Jews run the politics, Jews run... What should I read? There's much geschmack to read that. It's a good joke, but Hakaponam, the Matthias is that most of companies do not belong to Eden. Belongs to Goyim. In Chislur. Now, when you're talking about Kelim and Etzisruel, Zung the Poskim, over there, most of the companies, Ribik belongs to Eden, then you don't make a bracha. But it belongs to Goyish companies, you should make a bracha. Now, even if you have Jewish people who have shares, the halacha is, as we're going to see soon, companies which is beshitvus, or a keli which belongs to a yid and a goy together, beshitvus, and a person, a yid, buys it off, he has to toivel it, because after all, it came from a reshis from a goy, at least a part. So therefore, even if you have Jewish people or have shares, so it's maximum a shitvus of yid and goy. So when you buy it, you still have to toivel it. So there's no reason not to toivel a keli, which is for sure needs to be toiveled with a bracha. And we have a cloud called the Purish Meriva Purish. Although there are some companies who belong to Eden, but we have a cloud in halacha called the Purish. Wherever something, you take something and you don't know if it comes from a Yid or from a Goy, you go to the majority. The majority of companies are Eden. So therefore, you have to make a bracha and tefillas keilim. Again, if it's a keli which has to be toivled, a chaladayas, which is, for instance, a glass cup, a coffee cup, or utensils on the table, metal, glass, a fabric pot. Again, except if it has an exception, which we spoke last week, 2 weeks ago, all these kind of exceptions, which you don't make a bracha, then you toivel without a bracha. Brakaponim, whatever it is bechiv to make a bracha, you make a bracha. What? Maybe you don't for something else. But why maybe? It's not a suffolk. If you know Yid owns it, it's not. If you don't know, maybe he has shares. Let's assume people Yidden have shares. Let's assume they have shares. But shares doesn't patter it. So you have to assume that he owns the whole company. Called the Purish Meriba Purish.
Shares go to the right, even if there's one goy table.
Even one goy owns a share, then again. Okay, if a person toivels a kele in the mikveh, yeah, he could also make a bracha, but depends over there. It depends already if it's nufik zahama. There's a lot of shechanor that if it's nufik zahama by some merchetz, which is a lot of nufik zahama, what is it called? It's the shower has showers or has and the showers go out. If it's a room which is basically a lot of steam, moist, then you don't make a bracha. But again, nufik zahama means zahama. So, for instance, even in the room which the sinks are, the room where the sinks are in the mikveh, you can make a bracha. But even if a person wants to be machmer and doesn't want to make b'chala bracha in the mikveh, make a bracha before you go in, and then you go in and you toivel it. One of the reasons why the poskim say it's kedai in a town where they have a mikveh which is special made for kelim is kedai over there to be toivel is one of the reasons because of this. Because over there, l'chaladais, there's no problem of making a bracha. Because if it's over here, you have a person which is undressed, you're going to get a shal of making a bracha. So therefore, you have to make it outside and you're going in. But if you have a mikveh kelim, which there's no problem, nobody's undressed, there's no nufik zahama, it's all of them cold water. So basically, that's the l'chila. Kedai, you should go to a mikveh which has kelim mikveh. Another reason which the post can say is because they don't want that you should toivel in a mikveh, regular mikveh, because you might break a kelim and then push das kon. A practical, what the post can bring down, a practical zach. Abra if a person over here wants to make a bracha and should make a bracha, he should make a bracha outside and go in. And by emes, again, even by the sinks, I don't see a reason that the what? It's not a hefsek because there's a chaylik from the. You have to go. There's a chaylik from the zach.
Even if no one's there for sure now?
What?
Even if no one's for sure inside, you know no one's inside.
And no one, and there's no zahama, then you can make a bracha inside.
What's that suggested to go in the washing machine room?
You can go and wash. And
What do you mean by the sinks?
when you wash the sinks,
That's a better place?
it's better than the room where people are undressed. This mind. What? Nobody undresses over there. Nobody undresses. Amur can I mention and when you go in the toilet, in the mikveh, the sinks. Yeah. Okay.
The changing room?
Right next to the changing room, after you finish, where do you wash your hands?
Yeah, so right there.
Over
That's
there.
the same room.
No, and there's a series of places that Allah Zach. And I feel the changing room, but it's much can saham b'derech klal. Except if it is only people are undressed. But
That's an only.
that's why you can't. You shouldn't make a bracha. But if you go in a separate room and you don't see,
Can I go? It's much easier. Can I go say bracha, dip one fork in, change, and then dip in my other 50 forks?
yes, okay.
That's like a hammer.
Yeah. That's also fine. Yeah. Okay. Who could toivel? Yeah, that's good. Who could toivel? We'll see soon. We have a little einlich like this when it comes to going. Who could what?
Another place where we say Oived is we're mechel the halacha of Oived because of Anders the Efsher.
Efsher. Okay.
That's the.
Das ist auch, if this is a part of this a heilig fin you mean over. Over let's see you some is only when it's Efsher. You mean talk the brocha afterwards?
No, fine.
No, what is it over?
You're so far away from Mamsh doing the Meissen Tvila.
So aber hast du kein Breite. If you can't make it inside the bracha, so the Efsher, like you said, the Efsher, you could do that. But again, you could do it in the laundry room. You could do it in a lot of places which you could get chanaitza. Who is allowed to tovel kelim? Now the law is hakel kshayrem. Everybody is allowed to. Men, women have the same right as a man that they could tovel kelim. What's doing about children? On the bar mitzvah or a girl on the bas mitzvah. Now, they could tovel kelim and they can make a bracha. The only problem is a katan, a ketana has no nemonas. That means when they come home, I tovel the kelim, they have no nemonas. So I cannot rely that they tovel the kelim and I have to tovel it again. Kemiv without a bracha, but they have to tovel it, they have no nemonas. So therefore, now in Beklai Matches, 100% have kanamunas. But when it comes to Klei Zechich, which is a draisa, Klei Matches is a draisa. When it comes to Klei Zechich, glass, not metal. Metal is a draisa, glass is a drabon. But the rabbonon, there are some poising wants to say they have namonas, so you can send a child to Toivel Klei Zechich, glass. But we don't like Tchila send children because some machlokes are poskim, and there are poskim which want to say that even glass, even with Rabbonon, Hamzirish Karamonas Akapuna, but therefore, you don't send children to Tovel Kailim. Now, if you send children to Kailim, and you have a Godel, which is over there and sees that they're Tovel Kailim, and the Godel tells me, I saw them Tovel Kailim, then of course, the Zach is Git. Because now, we don't rely on the children, we rely on the Godel. The Etzem Tefillah, the cotton is no problem. The Eitzem Tefillah, the Ketana is not a problem on the Bar Mitzvah or the Bas Mitzvah. But we have a problem with the Monas. If you have a Godel which comes and tells, I saw your child toivel in the Kaim, that's fine. But if not, you have a problem with the Monas. But the Poiskim Zugna, the child himself, which he knows he toivels it, he could eat in that Kaim. So he himself, in some of the Monas of Amen.
So why are they allowed to do it anyway?
Why not? So it's getoivelt. So, aber was geteufelt? In unbechiebe Mitzvah. Wir können sehen, so ein Goy kann teufeln. Ist nicht bechiebe Mitzvah. Wie steht? Der Maas hat Zwille. Ich darf nicht der Maas hat Zwille. Now, let's go straight to the Goy. Der Loch ist Shechanorach. Der Loch ist Shechanorach is, as a Goy is kusha betfilas kaila. But also the same thing. We have a problem. They have no nemonas. So if you send the Goy to be over the kaila, and he comes back, I did it, what nemonas does he have? But the Eitzah Masa Tefillin is no problem because Safkus of the Kail is going nitzel. Oy b'choban amunas as einmal duty so that's fine. So zug the boys can cater it. What?
If you have a lot of kailim, a guy can help you.
Oh, so when you have a lot of kailim, you can take along with a goy, and the solution to this is that the yid makes the bracha because also the goy can't make a bracha k'mivin. So the yid makes the bracha and he toivels one kaili. And then the rest of them, the goy does, and the Yisroel is Remel Ganaf. So both can toivel kailam, and the Yisroel is on top of him and sees what's going on, and sees that he toivels it. So we have no problem of the bracha. We don't have the problem of the monas, because of the sof, the Yid is there, he saw it, so that shunkin to the monas and the goy. And also, sof kol sof, the goy, the Yid made the bracha. So basically, this is the best thing to do, and this is how usually caterers do. Caterers, when they have to toivel a lot of new kailam, utensils and stuff, usually they have goyim who go to, so they go to the water, they go to the mikvah, they go to the yam, and you toivel it there, the yid dips it, macht a brocha, dips it, and then the goy does the rest thing, and the yisrael is like gabav, it looks what goes what's going on. What?
The cotton imad the gabav makes a bracha. Cotton, when you send it to cotton to table.
And a Yisroel is oim the gadav, and make the bracha, macht chametz.
The cotton makes the bracha.
Cotton make the bracha, yeah.
And if no one's watching him, and you need to like and what?
Do what?
No one's watching the cotton went to table. He comes back. He said you table without a bracha.
I get toivel, yeah, because hat ich keine Monas, aber Lamas is the Keil is nicht voll geworden. I don't know. It's a suffolk. Okay, so which kailam do we need to toivel? Now, I'm not talking the material. The ma'avar from the goyische hand to Yiddish hand. That's the klal. The klal is, as we mentioned the first year, the reason what the Torah says you should make tefillas kailam is whenever a keli goes out from the rishis from a goy to the rishis from a Yisrael, azovi tefillas ger. A ger, when it came from rishis goy, rishis Yisrael has to toivel. The same is also a keli, which comes from rishis goy to rishis Yisrael, although it's new, no flavor, no nothing, no tam. After it began the eitzim zach, it went out of the rishis from the goy to rishis Yisrael. Mir rishis goy, rishis kedisha, mir rishis timel kedisha. Darf man machen, mizma machen. Das ist bechiv tefillah. B'mayla. Any kele which a yid buys from a goy, and he buys it in order to use the tzorech achila. That's a very important nikida. He buys it the tzorech achila. Then is mechiv b'tefillah. If he doesn't buy it the tzorech achila, enkel manus the tzorech achila. For instance, he buys it to sell for somebody else. There's a company who makes pots, and there is a Yiddish company which sells pots. So he buys it from the goys, and now he came into Rishis Yisrael. He doesn't have to toivel it. And we're going to see that he has a problem if he toivels it. So why? Because he did not buy it l'tzorech achila. He bought it in order to sell it, to make panasa. In such a case, you don't have to toivel. Epotem etfila. The yid which buys it from him, although the yid bought it, the yid which buys it from a Yiddish person, but since it was in a Rishis Yisrael once, B'shis Goy once, he went through B'shis Goy, then it is already Mechi B'tfila. So since the Yid buys it to eat, he wants to use it tzorech achila. So again, a wholesaler or a store which sells pots, he should not toivel his kelim. He does not need to toivel his kelim. A person...
We mean doesn't need it. He's not eating for it.
That's right. This is exactly what I'm saying. Since he didn't buy the tzorech achila, although it belongs...
He's not even using it. Even if he bought it tzorech achila.
If he buys it for his use... If he buys it for to use in his house, of course. No, if he buys it to use it, if a person has a store which sells dishes, and he takes a set for him for his house, of course he has to toivel it.
That's because he's using it.
This is exactly what I'm saying. Since that's exactly you repeat.
What if you buy a keli to give to someone else?
We're going to get to it.
But you don't do it and you keep it.
We're going to get to this. We're going to get. I hear exactly what I'm saying. I said by previous shiur, everything will be addressed. Believe me. We're going to get to that. Therefore, the Nikid Sadvurim is if it was Bereshis Yisrael, Bereshis Goy once, you have to. It has to be toivel. The end game, the person who use it for klei achila will have to toivel it. If it's manufactured by Yid, a Yiddish company, which one of the mashalim which I could give, berry crackers. Yeah, a berry cracker. I don't know if it belongs to a Yid or there was a time which Yid had, it was a Shis Yid, that's why I had it. Sometimes some berry crackers had a note from the OK, you don't need to buy it, you don't have to toivel it. The berry crackers, why? Because either, we'll get to it in a minute, either you purchase the company you rented the company for a while, we're going to get to it in a minute with the Nikida. So there was a note in the berry cracker when you purchased it. This is not mechi b'tefillah only if you bought it in Walmart. Only if you bought it in BJ's. Because you went through a goyish. So although the goy bought it to sell it weiter, to sell it further, he didn't buy it. But it went through the goyish rishis. This is mechi b'tefillah. Even if it was manufactured by Yid. In a manufactured by Yid, Yiddish ba'alim darf nicht toivel. But since it went through a goyish Yid, then you make tefillah. Now this is the halacha. This is a clear halacha. We don't have to. Interesting to note. I want to bring it as a cute because in the last Aris rule I published. I found somebody gave me told me about it and I looked it up. There's a ksaviat from Rasha. Shittis Rasha one place which Rasha says initials. Rasha says that since the guy took it only to sell somewhere else, he's a storekeeper. He bought it from a Yid and he sells it to Yid, and he didn't use it, didn't go through his reshis in order to eat. Therefore, you have to toilet or again as kumas a reshoinam, kumas a shechanurach, kumas a poskim. That's not the case, and therefore, when you buy a keli, even though it was manufactured by a goy, by a Yid, it went through a goy somehow, and even the goy did not purchase it to use, only to sell it further, is b'mechi b'tfila.
He said only Walmart, because Walmart doesn't buy it.
He said only if you bought it by Yiddish company, by Yiddish. This is what they write. It's doesn't need tefillah only if you buy it by Yiddish store. Because if you bought it if you bought it, let's say for Walmart, you went through a goyish rishis, so automatically shavidah mechi b'tefillah. So they're manufactured by Yid doesn't help me. That's why they had. I think lately the Stabachal giving hechsher misprum made confusions by people, so therefore there's no hechsher at all. But there was a time which had a note. Therefore, as we just mentioned, when a Yid takes from a goyish person, manufactures kelim, and he sells it water, so what you mentioned before, he's not mechi b'tefillah, because he didn't buy it to use to eat. He bought it to sell it further, so he doesn't mechi b'tefillah. So therefore, zugen achroinim, that when you go into a store, a hardware store, a Yiddish hardware store, and you purchase kelim. So a lot of people, mistakenly, they buy a lot of things. In the meantime, till the guy rings you up, they take the keli, and they go in the back, and they toivel it, and it's toiveled. The problem is, you toiveled his keli. It's not yours anymore. Not yet yours. Not only when he's in the middle of ringing you up, even if you give money, you gave money, so we have a lucha, as by a Yid, as is a kapur medrabun, is mus not koina. So hostin is koina in the kaila. So therefore, only once you paid and you picked up the keli, then it's yours, and then you can go toivel the keli. You should not toivel it before, for sure, you should not toivel it before you paid and you picked it up, because then it still belongs for the balabais. The balabais is mechi b'tefillah because he purchased it only to sell further and not to eat. You are the chiv tefillah would be only you because you are using it in order to eat. But it's not yours yet, so therefore people do not realize it, and you have to make this cheshm that even you're going into a store and he has a mikveh right away and you have a lot of stuff, in the meantime, while he rings you up, you want to toivel it, you can't toivel it.
You're not kind of when you put it in your shopping cart?
No, you're not kind.
That's a big deal.
What is a big deal?
What you're saying.
Yeah, it is.
I've seen it done myself.
Yeah, 100%. A lot of people do not know this. Exactly. And the Achronim do Zamoira. There are some Talmidei Chachomim which... Lichtchila, I would say you should do it again una brocha. Sie do Poiskem, sie will quetschen, aber sie sagen, Lichtchila sicher nicht. The same will go to your question. I bought a kele, Purim, I want to give it a present. Or I bought kele, I want to give a droshe geshank. I want to give a set kele for a person. So you purchase the kele, and you want to give it further. What happens, Purim, you're sending, what is it called? A kele, a mug. And you say there's candies. And you're sending it for someone, I don't know if he's going to toivel it. So there's a big problem. The poskim have a big shmiz what to do with such a thing. You cannot toivel it because you didn't buy it to use it. You buy it to send them. You can toivel it for them? No, it's not. So the eights of them, the poskim say, and it's good to know when it comes to Purim because it's a problem which we have a lot. You give for somebody that he should pick up the kelim for the people which is going to come for that. Yeah, that means ich bin kohen, the same as we make ariv chetzayres or ariv techimim or ariv tafshil. Somebody else picks it up. It is a kohen for chalair. There's the concept somebody else needs. That's why it's ariv tafshil. Not everybody has to give it to someone and to pick up. People do not wrong. You make ariv tafshil. You make the bracha and it's ariv tafshil. You don't have to give someone else to pick. I don't have a right. That's basically the Ravair who wants to be koil for the whole community. So therefore, how can I be koil something for you? I give it for him that he should koil for you. So therefore, is Piram, if you want to give monks or whatever, any kele for a person, and you know that guy, first of all, if the guy is a from, you tell him it wasn't toivet. And he should toivet it. Second of all, if you give it for somebody who is not going to use the toilet, give it for someone to pick it up for them. Now it belongs to them. Now you can be toilet their keile. It's not a problem. You should toilet somebody else's keile. But no, wenn es hat schon Archiv Tfila. Wenn es hat noch Archiv Tfila, kann man nicht toilet sein. And therefore, that's the solution to do when it comes to Purim. But when you buy kelim to give a matana for someone else, you don't need to toilet. You cannot toilet.
You know specifically who you're giving it to.
So basically your wife. You give the shachmanas to your wife to kind of someone else. Or the opposite way
If you don't have another option, yes. But Liebe Chatzai steht in the poskim as Ishto is Kegifa, Yuda Kiyuda. So it's a little bit not so pushed. I spoke when it was when I used to have the 2 years Anash.org. We had this shaila COVID, so people wanted to be makna things. You had nobody else. You didn't go to the neighbor. So then there was such a case the wife could do it, but the kichila you need somewhere else. You could do it for your child, which is not in your household. Okay, so there's a luchas how to do. The best thing is to give it for a neighbor. You ask someone else, which is not a part of. That means not your wife and not a child, which is over bar mitzvah, but he's still sumach al shulchan aviyam.
Mister, why is it not a to do that?
To do what?
The whole thing with the shalchmanas.
It is.
Only for a person who's not going to table them. Why can't I?
You can do it, but if why are you taking away his mitzvah? If you're telling me it wasn't turbulent, he will
I'm
turbulent.
tabling 50 mugs, and I don't know who they're all going to, and I put on each mug. Your mug is already tabled.
Okay, fine. Then it's fine. You can do it. Yeah. If it's making away for them.
Do you know?
If you made,
you know
yes.
specifically who you're saying?
No, it is going off of him to tun. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, before people don't do this.
What?
It's saying in the community.
It is. He said it is.
People usually said no. Usually no. Purim. We spoke Purim on this before Purim. This halacha, and we said people should know that when you get mocked, you should toivel it again. You should toivel yourself. Yeah.
No, I was mocking it to you first. You were mocking it to me, all of them, and then I could tell you.
Yeah. Now, if you have a company which belongs to a Yid, he's the owner, but all the goyim, all the workers are goyim, it's still considered it belongs to a Yid, and you don't have to travel kelim. So even if you have in Etzisol, a company belongs to a Yid, and all the workers are Arabs, it's okay. Now, vice versa too. If you have a goy who owns the company, and all the workers are from a Yid, you have to travel it. It's still whom does the kele belong? The kele is made. By whom was it created? It was manufactured by a goy. So therefore, you do have to travel it in such a case.
A lot of kids recently got different kelim from Tzivas Hashem. Like I showed you the waffle maker thing.
Okay.
So is that considered a Yiddish company?
I don't know who made it.
It comes from China.
They bought it for China. 100% they bought it for China. So this is a Goyish company.
If you actually make a special thing for it.
The what?
If let's say I ask you China to make a special thing for
We'll get to that. It doesn't help. Doesn't work. Doesn't help. Not only that, the poskim even if they made special item for you with the Tzivos Hashem logo, the poskim bring a moshel. Companies which make special bottles like Yerushalayim. There is a lot of fancy wine bottles, especially at Yisrael. They have wine bottles which is like glass, which has pictures of houses, Yerushalayim houses. They made it. The company manufactured special kelim for you, for each company. It still belongs to a goy. A goy wasn't manufactured, and you got a toivel. It's not kashayches with them. What is be'etzim the chap when you have this bekelach, this pants which you see ein zurich tefillah? What is the nekida? So the nekida said is again. I want to make it clear. Not everybody agrees that it's okay and it's put in tefillah, but it's mekibel, it's miskabel geworden by Klal Yisrael because they kept on advancing. At first they didn't have a little. Then first they went to the goy, and they used to say for the goy, I am renting out this company. It's mine for these days, for day. Today is my company is mine. Macht the ganze kinyan mit alle kinyonim was mat for goy. So the company is now mine. And this fracture the bekelach, the pants, and then they wrote it's not shivat tefillah. Then became some rabbonim b'ma'orer that although you rented out the company, but the metal is not yours. The metal is not yours. In the halacha shechanurich, the ganze halacha, if a yid gives for a goy the metal or so now the last version how they do it lately is they purchase the company, they purchase all the material, mit a kinyan, mit a hagbua. They have the guy who's in charge from one company told me, how do you make hagbua? Because by Goyim you have to make all kind of kinyunim. I said, why? We have this tread, what is it called?
Forklift.
This what is it? No.
Forklift.
Huh? Forklift. Have a forklift. Pick it up. Man hyped off all the material the hype off. That's why it's ein zurich tefillah. So today's day you could rely on it. If you have this, which has the company which says ein zurich tefillah, you could rely on it.
Even if you use it.
What?
Even if you reuse it. Even if you reuse it.
That was we spoke last week. Reusing it, that's already a whole different subject. We have last week or 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. So that's, I don't want to go over that Nikida. We don't have that much time. Okay. If you again, as I mentioned, just going over, according to the Sider, you have a company which is made, a company which belongs to a Yid and a Goy, you still have to toivel it, and even Mabrocha, because of Kasov, a part of the Kela is a Chaylik forget for a Goy, you take it out for the Rishis and a Goy, Mamaila, you have to still toivel it, and therefore it's Kedai Bachlal. Over here in America, again, we have called the Push Meribah Purish, but again, when it comes to Etzis Ruhl, Zung Dachroim, Ravoz, mit Ander Shram, as they write, it was a Kol Koira, that the storekeeper should make sure that they should be Mavara, Taka, because people rely, it comes from Etzis Ruhl, you don't have to toivel it. But today's day is a bit hard, because today's day comes from China, there's no manufacturing in the whole world. So Shram says, the Push the Yidden, so machen sure that if it comes from China, you should tell that you have to toivel it. Ager shen is Gayer. Does he need to toivel all his kelim or not? He purchased new kelim when he's already in the process of being a yid, and he didn't use it anything, for treifers or even a fil bishul. We have a whole shmiz if bishul akim. There's let's be machman. He didn't use it only for cold. Does he need to toivel or not? Is lamaase ocht machloiks hapaskam. Lamaase Ravos paskent as you have to toivel it. Although wasn't a kidna. Why shouldn't he? Because when do we say it mit after guys, but she's goyle, she's ruin. But over it didn't change who she is. It stays in the same Rishis. The Yid hat sich getoscht. The Mensch hat sich getoscht. Not the Rishis hat sich getoscht. So therefore, do achronim tanan that you don't have to toivel it, but lamaisa, Ravos
Is that if he made it himself?
The what?
Even if he bought it?
Even if he bought it.
No, but
He bought it from a Yid. Yeah, if he bought it from a Goy, he bought it from a Yid.
Or from a Goy. It became a Yid.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, so now we know already what we need to do, what kind of keli we have to toivel. Now let's go to another step. A keli which is not getoiveled but belongs to a Goy. May I use it or not? Can I use a keli? I go to my neighbor, do me a favor, lend me a keli. I know that he's a guy, he's in the process of becoming ger. Everything is kosher, it doesn't cook anything. It's his kelim. But can I use it or can I not, or not? Now the halacha is a clear halacha, there's no machloikas. A Yid has no problem to be mishtamash b'kelim shel a Goy when it belongs still for the Goy. It belongs for the Goy. It means if I go into a restaurant, and I want to drink a glass of beer, I'm going into a goyish, what is it called, bar, and I want to buy a glass of beer, by the way, people do not know that even if you could buy the beer, there's no problem. Mitzat kashrus, I can put on most of the beers. Lately, the epispool beers has a problem with milk, but again, regular beers is not a problem. But there's a loch shechanur. Although you could drink beer from without a hechsher, but you cannot eat it in the place in the bar. Extra luchem to drink in a bar. But let's say you're buying a cup, you buy a glass of beer, you're taking it out, you're not going to drink it inside. It's not a problem to use a goyish kela which is not toivelt. Kemivim chaz v'shulam, it's not treifes. Has to make sure it wasn't treifes. I'm talking about kosher. Then what?
More practical case, you're catering, so you kasher it, but you don't toivel it.
Okay, yeah. It belongs to the goy. That's not a problem. Why? Because only a kela which a yid purchased or got a matona from a goy, he has to kavel, but if it belongs to goy, it's fine. There are some poskim which want to say that if a person borrows a keli from a goy, and after a long time the goy forgot already he lent it for the yid, and the yid keeps on using it. In such a case, there are some people who want to say that it's going to be yesh v'shin rishis, and therefore he should toivel it. But Lamasa, if a yid has kavanah beferish, I don't want to be koined, that's not a problem. What is this? Wie ist the Nagaya? The Nagaya is a person comes in Shabbos and he realizes, I bought dishes, I forgot to toivel it. And there's no mikveh around town, first of all, or even there is a mikveh, it's Shabbos, and you can't toivel in Shabbos kelim. There's a loch shechanorach, you can't toivel kelim, it's kemasak muna. But still now you can use it. When you toivel it, it becomes roele kelis. Kili, you made a kelim. So now you have kelim, yeah, and you forgot to toivel it. It's Shabbos. A caterer or a family, bungalow colony, bought kelim, forgot to toivel it. Shteiten shechanorach was the solution. You go to a goy, you give it for him a matuna, make sure the goy makes an amale kinyan, it's not a joke, he has to make a kinyan to pick it up, and all the kinyan which you could do, you give it a matuna, so now it belongs to the goy, now you ask him, I want to borrow it, I want to use it. Kamiv Motzei Shabbos, he asks back for the goy, should give it back for the yid, and then he can toivel it with a bracha. When did we use this heter? We all remember, 5 years ago, Shmei Gedach, there was COVID. People had for Pesach, people bought new kelim for Pesach, but the mikvahs were closed. And go to Seagate in New York, where is the ocean, because again, in the rivers you cannot toivel, or just want to make it clear, rivers you cannot toivel, because all of the rivers is nish kusher for tefillas, not for nosham, not for kelim, because there's dams, and all of the zachs is this koichudam sheivim, you cannot toivel in 99% of the rivers, so you had to go only to the ocean. So therefore, you couldn't go to the ocean either because COVID police was around. Lakes, if whatever. It's very complicated. So therefore, if you didn't. So what did we do? What was the psak with all the Rabbanim Paskin? Give it zas makna for a goy. It belongs to the goy. Give it over for the goy. Belongs for the goy, now you use it. And once COVID goes over, you ask it back, and then it's okay. And you remember last week when we spoke about electric kelim, that was also one of the solutions. Remember? Last week I said, the person has a kelim which he's afraid is going to, when you toivel it, it's going to break. So one of the solutions which we spoke is, that the solution is, you give your korek for the goy, give it to him a matana, or you sell it him for $1. Then you basically ask him, he should lend it to you, and then you use it. And you have a mind not to be koine, even we shouldn't be koine after a while, like we said before, years, and then you don't have to toivel it. And that is the solution. The Shabbos, it's only the tzorech. And only taka, you don't do this only when you have no option, like Shabbos taka or was COVID, we had no option, or taka electric kelim. Other than that, we don't do these things. You give it just for a goy. You go if you're lazy, I'm sorry, you don't do. You do it only b'shas chak. You go to the and you.
Why? Because it's not a real kinyan.
It is 100% the kinyan. If not the kinyan, then
why is it only b'diyan?
Val sofkel sof. Eins beim Menschen kriegt das aus Kilis, ist herum. Und zweitens, noch einmal, du nimmst direkt am Mitzvah. Ich warte la Mitzvah. La Mitzvah für warte la Mitzvah. Okay, final halacha is a person is not allowed to use a keli which was not toiveled. He cannot use it for tzorech achila. Remember, I mentioned it also previous shiurim. People have a misconception that you bought a keli. Oh, one time I could use it without toivels on. Then, if I want to use it again, then I have to toivel it. There's no such thing. You cannot use a keli even once. Are you going to ask, what are you doing about pants? Yeah, disposable pants. That's the reason, not because one time you can use a keli without using it. That's the reason because it is disposable. It's disposable. It's made for one time. So you use it once, you throw it away. So therefore you cannot use it. Therefore, once you decide you want to use it again, then you have to toivel it again. So al kaponim, you cannot use a keli even once even boifen arai.
What about a pickle jar or a wine bottle?
Also not. You cannot use it. So when we purchase it, a whole shear, we gave a whole shear on this is the kid. Because that was the whole kid. They make it that you should use it and throw it away. So it is disposable, basically. We mentioned about that shear.
It's disposable. Could you use it again?
No. Once you decide you want to use it more, we brought machlokes aposkim. There are poskim which say you cannot use it because soft, and the minig is you toivel it, such a case. But there are poskim which want to say that by reusing it again, you're making it for keli. Since it was disposable, you decide you want to use it again, and that's only if a case where you decided after using it the first time. If you decided that when you buy a pen, I'm going to use it for 2 times, then l'chaladice you have to toivel it. But if you used it for once and decided to throw it away, and then you say, okay, no, I want to use it again, there are some points which will say, because then the second time, who made it for a keli?
So the first time.
The first time it was made for disposable. Such kashi was for keli.
I decided I want to make a keli.
What?
I decided no. Why does it make a difference when you decide you want to make a keli?
No, because once if you buy it and the keli you're buying it that this is not disposable, is this not disposable keli? You have to toivel it. When you buy it for disposable and then you throw it away, then you throw it away. Then throw it away, and then there's a problem. Okay, one final. So again, we cannot use a keli without if it's not even derech aray. Noch a wichtige halacha is b'de'evet, if a person used by mistake a keli which was not toiveled, the food is not osir. The food is not osir. It happens. People buy a pot, forgot to toivel it. Oops, they cooked the whole soup. It's not osir. It's mitte b'achila. It's like klun and shechanurach. Now, when a person goes about tshuva, he goes to his parents' house, and he knows his parents did not toivel the kelim, comes to his parents. Now, the thing is, with the point we say, in such a case, you should use disposable clays. You should use plastic. You shouldn't use real dishes. But what happened? You used real dishes. 100% kosher, but tefillah they didn't do. Again, we cannot use like a keli, which is not toivel, even oira ara. So what do you need to do? So the b'maila is do poiskim. It's not a majority of poiskim, but there are some poiskim which hold. This is the bais uvi.
What can you use? It's not yours.
But he, the balabas, is a yid, and he basically made food. So ich kenne chasi usen. Is the bais uvi will tan azoi. Ich habe nicht gechiv zu toivel the kelim. He has a chiv. It's not my chiv. So will it tainen that since the oire chotch kashim chiv to be toivel, nor the balabas, in Mamayla it's his problem. So Mamayla, otra ganze chesh, ich habe nicht kein problem to eat. Benoisi will it tainen as der oire bechlal be'etzem heißt nicht im Stomach bei der Keile, because if it's a past time, he would have taken plastic ones. He doesn't need it afka. So he had to tzrifim, so he wants to say when a person is by such a take, and if he's not going to eat by his parents, there's going to be mamash a bezoin gumar, then he could rely on this. Like tchila, he should take for his mother. There are people who come to other people saying, I only use disposable. I'm very mefinic, I only use disposable. I don't want to eat dishes. It's too much of some yeah. So therefore, that's the best thing. But if it is the case, your parent made you a party, kosher party, but they didn't tell you kelim. Rough poiskim will say, try to avoid, nicht to essen. But akapunam, si du poiskim is want to say that it's okay. So ich mein, as lamasa, yesh mukim lehukim b'mukim tzoyrich gudel. I'm telling it only, mukim tzoyrich gudel. When it comes to a restaurant, a Yiddish restaurant, which is mechiv to toivel the kelim, she gives it. See, well, he doesn't eat it. He gives it for if he eats in his restaurant. Even after the toivel, this is a klei for him. But if he doesn't eat klei, he only gives it for someone else. Yeah, that's a restaurant or a hotel. So machlokes achroinim, treis achroinim. If you mechiv to toivel, nicht mechiv to toivel, there's swerves lakan. The halacha is as mitoiveltas. All the hotels which belongs to a yid, all the restaurants toivel their keilim. That's the halacha. But such a case, you came to a party, and your whole family came to a party, and they magamacht, what is it called? They use the dishes, and it's very uncomfortable. Everybody's eating, you're not eating. Right? Chamul about shiva in a family or whatever. In such a case, hat noch a sibbe zu können Michael sein, because du posken, which benoist sich dabei so wie früher, over here, they have posken which say that melechil is nicht bechiv to teufel. So therefore, la masa, you could, in such a case, rely. Now, in a masa, again, a person has a restaurant, a person has a hotel, has to teufel is keilim. And there are some posken which say even bebrocha, but as come as a posken with a shvach kabrocha. But a kaponam, lefuch, he eats also in his restaurant, because there are some people who have restaurant, do not eat in their restaurant, they know what's going in there and how clean the kelim are. But a kaponam, if he eats there, because he's using it. But if he doesn't eat it, so b'mayla is minig is metoiveltas. But b'mukim, if you go to a restaurant, you have a sufik. B'frat over a sufik. The pasuk is noch. Ebo has a sufik ochet. Tzimot getoivelt has noch hatzat. So therefore, can man sich verlassen. But again, only b'mukim tzoyrech or b'shas atchag, b'shas chagudel. But a kaponam, if you did it by mistake, you used the kelim which wasn't toivel, is mikradin. You could eat the food. It's not a problem. And es wird nicht usser.